First over here is Jim McCluskey. Jim?
Good evening, everybody. Well, first,
Turn it down.
let's try this again.
Just bring it
I
down.
want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. My name is Jim McCluskey. I am the Mercer County Democrat State Committee man. Also want to thank our candidate, where is he? Justin, for being accepting this opportunity to speak with you. You know, folks, this is what democracy looks like. Having the opportunity to come out here tonight, ask questions to your candidate, and having the opportunity to have a civil, respectful conversation and get those questions answered. So we're looking forward to a candid conversation tonight that's respectful. We're going to ask you what's important about your question. We're going to work our way through the audience and ask you why you have put this question to our candidate and what's important to you about that question. Because these questions really affect you, your family, and frankly our future right here. So we appreciate you coming out tonight, and we know there's a lot of things you can be doing in the middle of July, but this is a very important time in our nation's history, and we think this time matters, so we appreciate everybody being here.
Maybe I can use some help. We're going to give it a shot. I'm David Henderson. Behind you, that is Gary Miller. He's part of our security staff. This is Larry McCoy on our wing, and Wes Carlson, who's at the entrance. And I thank you guys for coming here tonight. It's strange. My wife and I retired about 2 years ago, and for some crazy reason, now we stand here in front of you, I guess, hanging out in the boat, blowing good enough. Where's my wife? There she is. The idea is, are we afraid of democracy falling apart? I don't think democracy is falling apart. We think democracy is falling apart. How do we know democracy is not falling apart? Because you're here in the middle of the summer, cafeteria in Western Pennsylvania, and we want to ask some questions. Is this the guy for us? Can he help or can he hinder? We're about to find out tonight. I've been blessed working with Wes, working with these guys, I coach these guys in football, and working in the school district. You can kind of figure out where you see leadership. You can see people that get stuff done, you see people who look like a leader, they're wearing a tie, but they don't do a damn thing. That has been a problem for us for years. I grew up in Albany, Pennsylvania. 1985, Albany, Pennsylvania, suffered a horrific tornado. And I was lucky enough to be part of the fire department at that particular time. As, frankly, the crap's hitting the fan, and you're rolling in, you're trying to put your boots on. By the time I get up to the fire hall, 3 minutes after the tornado hit, all trucks are gone. They're off doing their thing. None of them were being manned by firemen. What had happened was, everybody instantly realized we are in a clandestine situation. Get equipment and get in. By the time we all get in and put our boots on, our ambulance drives by. There's 2 people driving an ambulance I've never seen before in my entire life. Like, whoa, here we go. These people are participants. They didn't wait for an order. They're leaders. They didn't know they were leaders. An hour later, you see farmers coming in. They have tractors, and they have front loaders, and everything that you need to remove rubble from human beings. No one asked them to do it. That's a leader. Justin Wagner's a leader. In the military, went to combat, engineer, husband, 4 kids. How's it going on? Is he a leader for us? We're about to find out. But you will be able to see it. You will be able to see it. I have no problems talking with Mike Kelly. I have no problems talking with you. But when the chips are down, when the hail is out, when the tornado is at your foot, who are you really going to trust? One of us or somebody else? Justin Wagner is one of us. Grew up next to us. He's from our area. He understands family work to Trinity. Mom's a nurse. It fits where we're at. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Wagner.
And let's have another hand for the singers. They did a fantastic job. Thank you for being here. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. First of all, thank you for taking the time out of your evening to come have a conversation here with me. Everyone deserves credit for getting involved. Our country doesn't get better because of politicians. It gets better because citizens show up for the things they care about. So you should all be commended for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. My name is Justin Wagner. I'm running for Congress in Pennsylvania's 16th District against Mike Kelly this year. So, I'm going to start by asking you guys a question. Raise your hand if this is your first town hall. Yeah, mine too. So we'll get through this together. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a husband. I've been married to my wife, Amanda, 22 years. We met in the military. She's a veteran as well. We met in Korea. We got married for $8. So, pretty good deal. I have 4 daughters from 20, 17, 12, and 13. And they are my rock. They're my grounded. They're the ones whose opinion matters most to me. I'm an engineer, at least for the next 7 days. Took a sabbatical so I could do this, because this takes a lot of time. I grew up in Greenville, about a half mile from where everybody's sitting right now. I grew up on Mercer Street, right across the street from Trinity. The sound of train cars being built, going out on the tracks, would put me to sleep every night. So much so that I have to listen to YouTube videos like today when I go to sleep to put me to sleep. I grew up wading in the Shenango River, watching movies at Jordan Theater. The first movie I ever saw was Spaceballs with my dad at Jordan Theater. I was there when I was in the crowd watching when they pulled Engine 604 into its iconic final resting place. I remember that day very clearly. I remember digging through the couch cushions for spare change so me and my cousin Johnny could spend the day at Memorial Pool on hot days like today. My first job was at the Greenville Diner, and then it was at Giant Eagle out on Hadley Road, bagging groceries. If you shopped there in the 90s, I probably bagged your groceries. So you're welcome. My mom spent 30 years working at Greenville Hospital. My grandfather, my stepfather, and I all spent part of our lives working over Trinity or Steel Car. This town taught me the value of hard work. This town raised me. It taught me the value of community and service to others, values that I carried with me into the military, where I served for 8 years in some of the worst and best places on the planet. This town's blue-collar roots shaped who I became. It taught me that when people have the opportunity, they'll choose dignity over dependency. Greenville's always been a hard-working town. A town built on steel. A town built on rail. A town built by people who weren't looking for handouts. They were looking for an honest day's wage for an honest day's work. And somewhere along the way, Washington forgot about towns like this. Factories closed, jobs disappeared, corporations outsourced our manufacturing to China and Mexico, wherever anything was cheaper to make, while towns like Greenville were left to wither on the vine. Young people left, because opportunity left first. Well, I don't believe Greenville failed Washington. I think Washington failed towns like Greenville. And that's one of the reasons I'm standing here tonight. I'm standing here tonight in Greenville for my very first town hall. A lot of your very first town hall as well, apparently. Because this is where I started. This is where I was raised. This is where I was shaped into the man I became. And if this is where my story begins, then this is where our fight begins. Standing here tonight to say it's time people like us stop getting left behind. It's time for small towns and the people who built this country and keep this country running have real representation in Washington. Not the same status quo. Not politicians who answer to the mega-rich billionaire donor class. Not a government that remembers Wall Street but forgets about Greenville. Standing right here in Greenville to tell Washington that we're tired. Tired of the corruption, insider trading for Congress people. Citizens United pouring dark money into our politics. That needs to end. We're tired of watching our jobs disappear while CEOs of healthcare companies make $26 million last year for United Health. It's ridiculous. Exactly. We're tired of being told the economy is doing great, while people have to do the calculus at their kitchen table about what bills that they can put off so they can afford gas or groceries or rent this month. We're tired of seeing politicians like Mike Kelly get richer and richer and richer while the rest of us fall behind. And tonight we're here, we're going to raise our voices together. Make sure that we're loud enough that they can hear us all the way down in Washington. We want opportunities. We don't want handouts. What we want is for the sweat of our brow and our aching backs to mean something again. To mean when we come home from a long day, we can relax in a home that we own. To mean that when I have to go to the hospital, I don't have to worry about going bankrupt. To mean that after a lifetime of labor, our Social Security will be there for us when we need it. And not in some hedge fund manager's bank account. Kelly tells you to downsize your home. Be prepared for the cuts. Do you really need 2 cars? You get by with 1. Those are direct quotes from the man. Why should you suffer? You're the ones who are working. You're the ones who are building this country. You're the ones who keep this country running. We're the ones on the ground that make sure shit goes right. That's what Greenville and towns like Greenville mean to me. That's what you all mean to me, Democrat, Republican, Independent, wherever you are, it doesn't matter. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm standing here tonight talking to all of you. Because I will fight to make sure that your voices matter as much in Washington, D.C. as they matter in this room tonight. Thank you. So politics is kind of like sad and boring and makes people angry and stuff. So let's try to have some fun tonight.
Yes.
All right, everybody ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how it will work, we're going to pull a question out of the bucket. Now, we're going to have differences of opinions. Some Democrats are going to be all in, some Democrats are going to be partially in. Some Republicans are going to be all the way to the right, some Republicans are not going to be all the way to the right. Everybody in here is going to be allowed to get their question answered as much time as we can spend on it. Embrace the difference between all of us. That's what we have, that's what makes our country great. If the question angers you, completely understand. It will be up to the candidate to answer the question. And then we move on to the next question, because we seem to have 60, 80 questions in there. Good. Hour and 15 minutes to do it. First question.
Okay, our first question comes from Michael DeMont. Would you please stand? What is your view on family farms in PA versus large corporate farms, and what will you do?
Why is this important?
Absolutely.
Well, it's important to me because I'm not a farmer, but I'm very dependent on what they produce, as we all are.
We all are.
Yeah,
For sure.
and so it matters to me how they do it.
Yeah.
It matters to me that this strong, diverse, I'm going to call it institution of the family farm, go forward. It's more robust. And I don't want to see food production being monopolized by a small number of companies that don't have the motivation to care for the soil.
Right.
That's
Thank you for your question. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Good question. I know a lot of small family farms, there's a few here tonight. They've been brutalized recently with the price of their inputs, the price of the fertilizer, the prices of diesel going up. They can't afford to even sell their crops. They can't afford to grow their crops because of everything being so expensive. One of the issues is the tariffs that we have right now. Another issue is this funky little war we got going on, right? So we need to prioritize our farmers. We need to make sure that their farms can run. We need to make sure that when they want to hand them down through their family, they're not penalized unjustly. Because these huge farms that have 200,000 acres don't pay as much tax on their capital, on their inheritance as the people with 20 acres. So I would prioritize, of course, small family farms, funding them, opposing the tariffs, ending this war, and letting our farmers sell their products here in the States to all of us because we rely on them so much. So thank you for your question.
Our next question comes from Mary Ellen Russell. Please stand. Mike Kelly has supported Trump's ballroom, the Arch, and the other vanity projects. How would you make sure our tax dollars are spent to benefit us?
Well, first I wouldn't, oh, I'm sorry.
We see the president spending all our money on all these. He said, like, when they destroyed the ballroom, it was supposed to be paid for by donors. It's still not done,
Right.
because they don't have enough money. So it's gonna come from us. I think they're taking away programs for the people, the disadvantaged people that need them the most.
Yeah.
Insurance costs, and that's why it's important.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, thanks, Mary. Well, there needs to be a reckoning for all this stuff that's happening. I don't want to offend anybody, but the White House looks like it should have a few cars up on like cinder blocks on the front lawn. So that's not his house. That's our house.
Yes.
It belongs to the United States of America. So I would very much oppose any kind of vanity projects like that. And like you were talking about, Mary, we've got USAID and probably killed 20 million people around the world. And yet we want to coat horse statues in gold. We want to make reflecting pools full of green algae and stuff. These things are the dealings of a madman. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. And Kelly really just kind of rides the train. Says, oh, you know what, whatever, we'll just go along with whatever he says. I would not ride that train. I would. I'd oppose as much as I could for vanity projects and try to get funding back into our programs that actually help people. So, thank you.
Next question is Andrew Wilson. Please stand. What do you think is the biggest barrier to cooperation in politics?
Thanks for that question, Andrew. Why is it important to you?
It's important to me because we see gridlock everywhere, and we're always looking towards the next election and the next change for another chance to try to shake things free. And nobody seems to be able to do that. So how do we cut through all of the talk and actually make things happen for people?
Yeah. Can you all still hear me? Can everybody still hear me? Good, okay. So, that's a tough one. That's hard because a lot of people cling as hard as they can to their beliefs. They're not willing to give ground. That's kind of both sides. I don't want both sides things, but there are radicals, and then there are people who want to work together to solve problems, right? To create solutions for things that we deal with every day. And the hatred between one side and the other doesn't get anything done. All it does is serve, like you said, to cause gridlock, to cause chaos, to cause our government not to work for us anymore. And that's by design. If they can keep us mad at each other, if they can keep us fighting each other, if I can fight you because you believe this and I believe that, we're not fighting the real fight. We're not fighting the real people that are doing us wrong.
That's right.
So you have to find those people, and you have to find common ground. Not give ground, but find common ground on things you can agree with. You don't have to give ground on things like racism and bigotry and hatred. We can live without those things. And we can live with real solutions if we can work together. Thank you.
Next question is from Cindy Glass.
She's not there.
Cindy?
Hi, Cindy Glass.
The Constitution gives Congress the authority to regulate foreign commerce. How would you rein in the President's ever-changing tariffs?
Question matter to you?
Because tariffs are changed whimsically, up, down, revoked, enforced, whatever. Like there's no regard for how that affects everyday people and the prices that we have to pay for things. And the tariffs have really hurt the farmers in Mercer County.
Yes.
And we need to do something about this.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, there are farmers everywhere, farmers all over the country. And that's why Congress needs to take back the power of the purse. We're at the whims of executive orders, whims of, like you said, tariffs on this country, on that country, just because of one reason or another. These things need to be studied. And they need to be done with care. And they need to be strategically done. We can do tariffs, but we can do them with a scalpel and not a shotgun. So, like I said, I would join with the other congressional candidates who would fight with me for the same thing, to take back the power of the purse of Congress, because that's where it needs to be, because Congress is what represents the people.
Yes.
The next question is from Sherry Foeringer. What will you do to expand access to affordable health care?
Sorry.
It's important to me because I don't think that being sick or having cancer should bankrupt a family. I really got worked up over the story of a 26-year-old that died because he couldn't afford an asthma inhaler because he had a lapse in his insurance. I think healthcare is a basic right.
Thank you. I'm sorry to hear that you lost somebody, Sheriff. But it's not unique. You're not the only one who's lost somebody because they couldn't afford their health care. There's a story about a lady who had lupus, a completely treatable disease, and her insurance wouldn't cover her treatments, and she died. Health care is a human right. And it's not something that we should have to worry about so much. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and you didn't have an $800 reduction in your paycheck. Imagine you could quit your job and go start a business because you weren't worried about having health care. How many people would leave their job and start a business? I would. You know, if I didn't have to worry about being tied to a health care thing. We watch as people suffer, as people die and suffer and go through all this pain because they don't have health care, while CEOs, again, make millions and billions of dollars on our backs, on our sickness, on denying our claims. So we need to push for a Medicare for all system. That's what I would work for. That's what I would push for. And this isn't a new fight. We've been fighting this fight for 80 years. 80 years. Truman proposed a national health care system. The AMA fought him about it. They come out on the fears of the Cold War and called it socialized medicine. And drove that fear in everybody. They like to use fear so that we don't use our brains. And there's proposals out there right now. There's good proposals in Congress right now to push for a Medicare for all bill. So I would sign on and co-sponsor those as soon as I got here.
Sam Mitchell,
Hi.
Hi, Sam.
what are your views on school choice, such as a charter school?
I'm not enough. So I actually went to a charter school for my high school. It changed the trajectory of my life. I was surrounded by people that cared about me on an individual level, and I'm just wondering like what your views are and how you can support them if you so choose.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad the charter school works for you. I'm glad you have that opportunity. Not everybody does. A lot of folks can't afford a charter or a private school. And what's kind of on the table right now is to give like a $20,000 voucher for you to send your kids to school, or a $10,000 voucher to send your kids to $20,000 school. Well, if you don't have that other $10,000, you can't send them to that school. So it doesn't do you any good. What it does is people who are already spending that money to send their kid to school, now they got a $10,000 discount. $10,000 that could have gone into our public schools. Could have gone into our public education. It's like a swimming pool. You have a public swimming pool, everybody can go. You pay a little bit, you go to the swimming pool. When you want to have a private pool, that's on you. You pay for it. And you let who you want in and charge whatever you want. But, yeah, charter schools, they have their place, but public education needs to be the priority.
Joanne Chismar, how do you propose funding Social Security benefits?
I love this question.
Well, I'm not too concerned about myself and my husband, but I'm very concerned with my adult children because I understand like in 2032 it's going to be making on around.
Right?
So, what do you do?
Sure.
What do you
Well,
do then?
yeah, thank you for the question. So, so 76 checks is how far we are away from a Social Security crisis. You talk about your adult children, I would love to have Social Security when I retire as well. The problem is that the trust fund that was set up back in the 80s is running out quickly. Right now, you get 91% of your benefits from the people working today, factories, mills, engineers, anybody working paying Social Security, that's everybody. That's 6.2 cents on every dollar. That goes to your 91%. And then we have a trust fund that's running out because more people are retiring, they're living longer. So we take more and more from that trust fund, and by 2032, that trust fund will be gone. And by then, we'll have ballooned it up to take 23% of your benefits instead of 9%. We need to keep funding that. The reason they're fighting funding it is so that they can create a crisis, so that they can privatize it, so they can send it to Wall Street. So we fund it by raising the cap. You and me and all of us and anybody making less than $184,000 a year pay all year into Social Security. People like Musk and Bezos and Zuckerberg are done paying into Social Security 90 seconds after January 1st on midnight. They're done. They don't pay any more the rest of the year. So we raise the cap. We can keep Social Security solvent for another. The proposal I was looking at was another 75 years, and also expanding benefits by $200 a month. And I've talked to people, and I've said, what will that $200 a month mean to you? And they say, I can buy better food. I can see my family more often. I can fix the window that's broken that lets the cold air in. We're not asking for opulence. We're asking to be paid, to be taken care of after we've paid into this system our entire lives on every dollar we've ever made.
Jamie Scott, I assume that you're opposed to the conduct of the war against Iran. Can you list some of the things specifically that are egregious and what you as a congressman would vote for to bring an end to this conflict?
This is a question I care about because I think any young person that's going to serve our country should be serving a just cause and one that they feel is bent to the laws of our nation. I'm sure you agree with me. I would just like to hear your opinions about why Congress hasn't been able to bring an end to this and what could be done in the future about that.
Right. Well, the question means a lot to me. Because I fought in Iraq under the same pretenses, under false intelligence. At its best, it was false intelligence. At its worst, it was a lie. Send us to war. Trillions of dollars spent, thousands of American service members killed or maimed, tens of thousands of Iraqis, children gone. That's the reality of war. And a lot of people that go along, like with funding these wars, don't understand the cost. And not just the physical cost, because last time I checked, the Iran war has cost us $111 billion. And now we started it up again today. So, you know, we've been kind of suckered into this wars too, because of our illustrious president, who was allowed and led by the nose by Israel into fight their war for them. So in Congress, I would fight as hard as I could to make sure we never send our sons and daughters into an unjustified war. No young man just joined the Marines. I'm terrified for him. I wish him well. I hope he does well, and I hope he gets a cushy assignment. But I don't know if that's in the cards. So when I get there, I would fight to make sure that he doesn't ever have to step foot on a foreign country for inane, made-up reasons. So, thank you.
Brian Williamson. Recently, a push for operating system level age verification and other internet censor efforts are occurring. I think in response to our foreign policy. Will you fight these efforts of controlling our private computers and internet?
This is important to me, in part because I'm currently in the process of needing to fix my computer. But also, this is a risk both to my personal identity if I have to install a file on my computer before I can even use it that has my ID on it that could be used to block me. Foreign already in like the UK, they're pushing for laws that basically restrict the youth and everyone on the internet, in large part to protect Israel's position politically within those countries. Everyone here who's got a smartphone uses the computer. You won't be able to see a town hall like this, even because they might restrict you from having access to the computer in the first place. And we've already seen big companies push for things that make replacing parts impossible. I don't want to see this happen. I don't want to have to run my ID through a computer in order to get it to even work.
Right.
Let alone if I need to scrap that computer and have someone who could just fish it out and commit crimes with it.
Right, right. Thank you, Brian. Former classmate of Reynolds. Yeah, Brian and I went to school together. Great question, Brian. Your privacy and your data should belong to you. It shouldn't belong to anybody else. We don't need mass surveillance of United States citizens, which is kind of what you're talking about, through our data. People reading your emails, people seeing what you click on a website, seeing how long you read something. They do that now. And it's only going to get worse. As AI rises, then that's the tools that they're going to use to collect your data, to target you and your data. There's a thing coming around called surveillance pricing. Is anyone familiar with surveillance pricing? Right, your grandma dies in Texas. They see that on social media, they see that somewhere. They know you're going to buy a plane ticket because you have to go, so they're going to jack up your price. Privacy is what you deserve as an American citizen. You should deserve the right to prepare your own stuff. John Deere's bad at this, right? There's a lot of companies bad at, so I would fight for right to repair. I'd fight to make sure that you don't have to prove your identity to keep your privacy. So these are like cyber bills that I would have to look at, Brian. I don't have like a great answer. So thank you for the question, but I can follow up. I've got your email. I'll follow up with you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian.
That's a good answer.
This question that I pulled out was Rich Riley, and it also had to do with data centers.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Enough for it? That's it, I can come forward. Hey, Justin, boy, AI, data centers, it's the new technology and it's coming, okay? There's basically two parts to this. Is the AI part, which you answered a little bit of, but the data centers.
Yeah.
These huge warehouses full of computers that, you know, right now we're finding out that local communities are finding out that their water's polluted and, you know, their roads are being tore up. So the actual physical data centers themselves, I mean, there's a pretty big uprising throughout the country that this isn't really what we want or what we've asked for, but it's being forced down everybody's throat. So what's your position on, you know, these data centers that are being forced on all of us?
Right. Thank you, Rich. I don't want a data center here in Western Pennsylvania. Does anybody? You do? All right. Well, we'll talk. We'll see why. Maybe you have a good reason. Like Richard touched on, they're harmful to the environment. They're hard to cool. They use up a lot of fresh water. They're being forced on communities that have voted against them, which is not how democracy is really supposed to work. I was reading today about something called the Power Act. And what that forces data centers to do is to invest a ton of their own money, and they pay higher power rates for the power company. So they go there, they pay higher power rates, they invest in energy, and it's supposed to lower everybody else's rate. We'll see. But I'm not for data centers. I don't think they're good. People, a lot of folks are saying they want to build them because they create jobs. They create jobs for a while. They don't create careers. It's not somewhere you're going to work and have your labor, you know, mean something, like if you're a welder or an electrician or an engineer or you know, a real job. I'm saying a real job, sorry. If you're working at data centers, it's a real job. But it only hires about 20 or 30 people once they're done. They're good construction jobs, a lot of people building them, and that work is there for a little bit, and then it's gone. And then you're stuck with this giant warehouse full of computers eating up all of your fresh water. Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'm saying the noise.
Okay, yeah. Eating up your water, causing all this pollution, causing your temperature to rise. The temperatures around data centers rise by like an average of 16 degrees. So, you can't drink data. You can drink water. So if they are to be forced upon us, which I would hope that I'd be able to fight to not happen, unless I'm compelled in a different direction.
Justin, can
Yes.
we ask a contrary question?
Sure.
Would you be interested in expanding on your desire to have one?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
well, there are certain things that they need to be done right.
Correct.
For instance, the one in Sharon's supposed to be close to the water, so you don't have the, water uses.
Right.
They're supposed to be, contributing to pay for the electrical grid expansion. And it's not going away. It's a technology that's gonna be here. I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of the new, I'm not in my backyard and need it, but no one wants it.
Right.
They are here, there has to be a plan for it. We can't just say, no, we don't want it, because they're going to be here. As far as not as many jobs, I work in construction on the line, so it's good for me. They do bring in a lot of jobs. As far as not having a lot of jobs, afterwards, that's today. I mean, I worked at the paint shop for Forrestown.
Okay.
When they brought in robotics, they cut the shifts down to, kind of keep on a shift.
Right.
That's the way it is. You're not gonna have the steel mills that have, but it is a job that, I mean, if it's 10 people, that's $100,000 a year, they're saying, I mean, that's $1 million in the economy over the years, so. It's just say blanket, we don't want them. I don't think that's right, right. They're gonna be here, and we have to address it, and we have to, do it responsibly, but we can't just say no.
Very
That's
good.
my opinion.
Well, thank you for your opinion, and, those are good points. I would still oppose them, however, if they are to be forced here, you're right, there are responsible ways to do them. Closed water cooling, putting them underwater, power them with renewable energy, put them in old mine sites, force them to clean up those sites, do remediation. So they can come in, they can clean up the environment, they can go on old mines. I think there's even one in Cold Mountain right now, down in Butler, an old mine. So if they are to come here, and they're being forced upon us, then we have to do them responsibly, like you said. Do them with closed water, like cooling, make them a part of the solution instead of a part of the problem. So, thank you.
Terry Wilson. Being a business owner in the area for a very long time, what incentives, ideas do you have to promote businesses, companies to come to this area in Western PA? Mercer County has so much to offer.
Yes, like Justin, I was born and raised here, raised a family here. My husband and I have had a business here for over 40 years. I remember the Greenville of yesteryear.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can get some of that back. So,
Yeah.
so that's important to me.
Yeah, me too. I hate driving through Greenville and seeing that big hole over there that used to be train. I hate seeing all the houses that I've lived in have been torn down. You see buildings torn down, it's like broken teeth on Main Street. People haven't been incentivized to start businesses here. They haven't been incentivized to use Mercer County and Greenville and these places to start a business, right? Greenville, and I have Chamber of Commerce folks here, Dave, who want to bring businesses here, who want to incentivize businesses to come here to Greenville and build and start their families and be here and be proud to live in Greenville again. I'm proud to be from Greenville. Every time I tell somebody that, they're like, what? But I am. Because Greenville's small town America. This is what people picture when they picture small town USA. At least that's what I do. Maybe I'm biased because I grew up here. But yeah, people need the resources and the incentives to start a business and to bring it here. And I have a few plans to bring a few businesses here. I'm working on it. I'm not going to reveal all of it right now, but I do have something in the works, and I can actually follow up with you too, if you'd like, one-on-one. Thank you.
Next question is Catherine Mallard.
You said my name right. What has anybody ever done?
What can you do to change the conditions in the Pennsylvania Department of Correction facilities?
I hate to admit this, but my husband is in there. He's got ants in his cell. He's got rotten food most of the time. He's got bad food, not just rotten food, but bad food, low nutrition food. And he's also a cancer patient and has other chronic health conditions. And he's in with 19 and 20-year-old men, and he's 70. What are we going to do to get this changed? And he's a very low criminal, not a violent one. And they got them all mixed.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. The ones that aren't dangerous shouldn't be with the dangerous ones.
Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that he's suffering. You know, our correctional facilities should be funded. Be funded and, so that people can at least have decent meals. People can, you know, it kind of sucks in there, I'm sure. You know, it doesn't need to suck even worse because you have worms in your food. I mean, my goodness, that's not how you treat other people. So, I don't know much about the Department of Corrections, or where their funding comes from, or how they're funding, or why they're having issues. I imagine it's a funding thing. Do you know where the funding comes from? Is it from the state? Is it federal?
It's state,
State?
it's a state correctional facility.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would have to work with the state reps and petition them to see what we could do to solve that problem.
Move the older people to.
I can't believe there's like not like a gen pop and then a word for violent people. They're all together.
They're all together.
Goodness. Yeah, that's not great. So thank you for your question. Again, if I have your email, I'll follow up with you as well. Thank you.
Next question is from Frank Harisic.
Hey, Frank.
Follow up on the issue of funding for public projects by private companies and individuals.
So, the question came up earlier about, like the arch and ballroom and everything, is supposed to be funded by private entities.
Supposed to.
But I never hear any negative about it, like that's supposed to be a good thing. To me, that's just more money, getting into politics. That's something that we want done. It should be, the funding should come through Congress, Congress should vote on it, and it should be done that way, not as turning favor to us in the White House at the time. If they can afford to pay for the ballroom or the art or whatever else, they can afford to pay more taxes. That's why it should be funded, not by.
No notes, man. I totally agree with you. Definitely should be funded by Congress, not funded by, you said, people buying, currying favor, paying for like these defense donors who pay for the ballroom and then expect to have a seat at the table because they've got so much money and they did so much for this branch. And that kind of money needs to get out of our politics. That kind of money needs to be tracked. We need to raise taxes on the billionaires, on these people who have benefited. They benefited from the American system so that they don't think that they have to pay back into it. Well, we benefit and we pay back into it a lot more than they do. All we're asking is for it to be fair. We're not asking for handouts, we're not asking for this or that, but we want you to be a part, again, of the solution and not the problem. And as long as you're up there and you're making billions of dollars and you're not paying any taxes, you're part of the problem. So, thank you.
This name just says Tommy. What is your position on student loan debt relief?
Hi, I'm 35 years old, and a lot of people my age and close to my age just drowning in student loans, and it kind of prevents us from being able to buy houses, participate in the local economy, and like get our life started.
Right. Yeah, and they just raised the cap on what you can pay, right? Some student loan, I didn't see exactly what it did, but it's like it raises your payment by $4,000 a year. When you're already struggling. You already have an issue. We need to put an end to, the reason student loans are so expensive because of the predatory loan practices that they put in place. These people need, these companies that do this predatory loan stuff, you know, they need to be held in check. And college doesn't need to, I don't know, is this mine?
Yes.
Sorry. College doesn't need to cost $1 million either. There's so much red tape and so much bureaucracy and so much stuff that goes on with these universities so that they can charge this exorbitant amount of money so that they can work with these lending companies and make this money back. There's a lot of things we can do about student loans. We could put a 5-year moratorium on payments So you get the chance, you graduate, you have 5 years to start your life, have a career, and then you can start paying on like your median wage. So you make this much, you pay this much interest, indexed to inflation, or something along those lines. You know, I think there's workable solutions and workable paths. And, you know, we could also fund college and training for necessary careers. We're short on doctors, we're short on nurses, we're short on electricians, we're short on everything that keeps this country running. So the people who need these, in the military, I'll use the military as an example. You go to college, and then you serve 4 years, pay back your college. You can go to college for 4 years, say some business wants you to go to college and pay for it, and you go work there for 4 years, pay off your debt. You know, there's a bunch of solutions on the table, we just need to work on it. We need to bring these solutions, instead of punishing people and dismantling the Department of Education and doing all this other stuff that is only detrimental to people who are just trying to live and get by. So I would work to curb the student loan problem for sure. So thank you for your question.
Rowan Hunter,
Roland.
what is one issue affecting PA 16 that you feel is being ignored in Washington? What will you do to address it?
So this question is important to me because over the past couple of years, talking to a bunch of people, but especially the younger generation, they feel as if their vote doesn't matter. They feel kind of trampled. And so, and we see that in the polling numbers when not a lot of people show up. So I guess my question is more, what can you do to ignite the younger generation into getting involved?
I can be here tonight. I can be all over the place. I can talk to the people that need to be represented. I can be where they are. I can have conversations face to face. You know, we do need to ignite the younger voters. We need to inspire people to vote. We need to inspire people to think that their vote will matter. We need to inspire them to think that they can get organized, that they can make a difference. And we do that by talking to each other. We do that by having these conversations. We do that by getting off our asses and getting up and organizing things. Because that's how things get done in this country. Nobody woke up one day and decided to give you civil rights. Nobody woke up one day and decided to give women the right to vote. It happened because people fought and bled for it. They organized, they got together. And that's what we need to do again. And that's what I plan on doing, and that's what I think we all should plan on doing, because we all have power. And together, we have more power. So, thank you.
Thanks, friends. We all need to get together to take back our government from the billionaire class. They don't help us. How can we get money out of the government?
It's just building on what you just said, what everybody just said, that we all have to understand who are we fighting here? Not each other, you said that. But all these problems that you've also said about why is the data center a problem, why is it, it's all of them. They have a different mindset. So we have to not just tax them, but stop their corruption somehow, which is so insidious. So,
right.
Big job.
Big job
Go
indeed.
for it.
Big job indeed, but thank you for asking, because there is a plan in place. I am signed on as a signatory with a group of other candidates. There's about 70 of us left, called Take Back Congress. And the tenets that we have all agreed on, if we get elected, are to end Citizens United.
Yes.
Term limits on Congress and Senate. Banning insider stock trading. You don't know how 16 feels about that. A 5-year moratorium on lobbying and an enforceable code of ethics for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And that would just be a start. So, thank you.
Kimberly Hanley? Privacy is supposed to be a fundamental right, but our rights are being erased via forced opt-in without actual consent. Consumer rights are also being watered down under de facto presumptions of agreement. Our fundamental rights ought to be a check or clicked on initially versus being forced out and thereby erode our federal and state constitutional, civil, and consumer rights. Our governmental officials, some not all, seem to be asleep at the wheel, and instead of defending existing laws and regulations, create further federal and state fragmentation, which weakens these United States. What will you do to be the difference?
Hi. I was inspired by this gentleman here and a few others, because we are having an issue with privacy rights, data being stolen from us, and we've got these long legalese, privacy statements and everything at the end. Who's reading those?
Right.
Because the reality is we're supposed to have the right to our privacy, and the laws or the way things are written are making us opt in by force.
Right.
Makes it presumption. So my question is this happening in a lot of different areas? My question is, what will you do to be the difference?
Good question. Thank you. Well, what we see now is dismantling of like all of our protections. All of our protections from, you know, bad faith actors and corporations and things like that. The dismantling of I can't remember what it's called. The corporation.
Consumer Protection.
Bureau. What's that? The Consumer Protection Bureau, that's right. I was thinking of Better Business. Consumer Protection. Yeah, that's been defunded. There's no teeth there to enforce it in standards because all that money that goes into politics says, oh, here, do this for us. You don't have to protect consumers. You can protect us rich people. Protect us billionaires. And part of that is those things that you're talking about, those big, long EU LAs that you opt out, you just sign it. Oh, it's my new phone, I'm going to sign it. And what they say is, this belongs to us, not to you. So those kinds of agreements should be a lot easier to read. Should be a lot easier to opt out of instead of opt in. It should be very clear about what you're opting into. The reason they're 100,000 words is because they know you're not going to read it. You're just going to agree. So that language needs to be fixed. That kind of language that says opt in, opt in, opt in, this is what we're doing, needs to be incredibly clear. And it needs to be disseminated by who you're buying it from. You buy a phone, they should say, hey, this is what you're signing up for. You opt in, you opt out. Those are things that need to happen. Go ahead.
One of the things that I'm also passionate about is, one of the things I'm actually passionate about also is that federal government has set up regulations, and each state will create regulations based on what the federal government has stated.
Right.
And pretty much everyone here in Pennsylvania, I believe is a testing ground, but everyone gets forced into an advanced net meter, which is a smart meter.
Right.
Federal law says customer choice. The Electricity Generation Customer Choice Competition Act, which is called Act 129, the amended part of Act 138, amended by Act 129, that also says customers have a choice. But we now have a bill for the legislature to make a de facto term opt out, a legal term, when customers have always had the choice. And so, because of this, and the passion of not wanting any of our constitutional, civil, and consumer rights to be further eroded, I actually have a case before the United States Supreme Court.
You do? Awesome.
To look into the fact that we are being overridden or overridden by corporate interests who are not people.
Right.
And our
Citizens United. to you sometime about your case. It's important. Thank you for being so passionate and doing the work and getting out there to fight for something that you care about.
Colleen Manning, do you believe that the warming planet is caused in part by human activity? If so, as our representative, what would you do to try and mitigate the consequences?
Hi, Justin. I think we all understand that the planet is warming, but I'm appalled that even Democrats seem to allow what used to be the Environmental Protection Agency become the Environmental Pollution Agency. And we don't seem to be doing anything.
Right.
And what could you do to help save our planet?
Yeah, no pressure. I'll save your planet for you. No, you're right. You're right. They've been dismantled. Their teeth are gone. They are at the whim and mercy of money from corporations. So now that corporations can pollute, they can pollute our rivers and streams with chemicals like glyphosate and all these other pesticides. Now we're pushing for clean coal, which I've never heard of before. It's a new thing.
It doesn't exist.
Exactly. Not only is coal not clean, but it's a lot more expensive to run these coal plants than it is to run other kinds of power. And why would we be so against more power? I would invest in renewable energy, things like turbines, things like solar. And we don't need to. A lot of people are against solar. They go on our farmlands, they go on our green spaces. They don't like to see them there. There's a lot more places we can put solar panels. We can put them in parking lots. Put them on top of buildings. They don't have to be an eyesore. They can serve a double purpose. I'm all for multiple solutions for problems. And then, when we get in there, we have to rebuild. We have to re-mandate. We have to give the EPA back its teeth. We have to fight for our clean air and our clean water. The Pennsylvania Constitution guarantees clean air and clean water for us. So I would make sure that we're fighting for that to happen. Thank you.
This question is for Mitchell, and Terry Wilson also basically touched on it too. What do you think is the best path forward for Greenville?
One of you guys going to go talk to Mitch? Okay, Mitch, I'll just answer your question. You're supposed to ask why it's important. Is he gone? Oh. All right.
It's important to a lot of us.
I
because we
understand,
all
yeah,
live
it's
here
important to
and
me
we
too.
like to have a beautiful town.
Yes. Yes, we should. Best path forward for Greenville is working with folks like this. Mr. Henderson over here, working with the folks in the Greenville City Council to bring opportunities back here to Greenville, to bring people and young people back here to Greenville because they can do things, because there's things to do. I used to go to Memorial Park and go to the pool all the time. That was awesome. That's the Greenville I remember. We need to have, I think we need to build on our roots of Greenville and talk about Greenville as if it's where the blue collar revolution needs to start again. Because that's what Greenville is. It's blue collar workers, it's hard workers. I've never met anybody that works harder than the people of Western Pennsylvania, and I've lived all over the world. So I know we can do it. I know we can bring Greenville back. We can work together. We can fill that hole over there where Trinity used to be with something useful. To bring people here, to bring young people here, to have them start businesses. So that's what I would do for Greenville. Trust me, I would not forget about Greenville because I take a lot of pride in my hometown. So whatever we can do to make it better, I'm on board.
Sherry Follinger? Sherry? Oh. How will you protect Social Security from any cuts?
I have, but yes, raise the cap. Thank you.
James Wilson? In the handouts, it claims you would commit to regularly announced public town hall meetings. How often do you plan to have these meetings?
Good question.
I feel like this is important because
It should be important to you because this is important. Town halls are important. It's important that you get to ask questions.
it's feel like a communication between what the politicians and the voters have become more and more skewed with the modern day. Politicians actually doing what they're promised is also very important to me with our current political climate. For people who just say what the voters want and do something else completely.
Right. Thank you. Good question. I'm not sure what the exact number is we've committed to. It's like once a month. Zach, do you have that answer? This is my campaign manager, Zach. Fantastic young man. This is my team back there. They're awesome. They deserve all the applause in the world. But we've committed to one in every county at least once a year. Probably more often than that. The exact number I don't have, but there'll be more of these. There'll be plenty more. I was talking to one of the folks in the Take Back Congress thing, and they've held 43 town halls this year.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, wow. But they have a very small district, so it's a little different. But there will be one of these in every county in this district, at least once, probably twice, maybe even more. And hopefully we can grow, we get more and more people to come, we can get more and more questions, more and more folks who maybe don't agree and want to have their voices heard, and we can find a path forward, find a solution. So, thank you.
The next question comes from Casey Keister. What is your political motivation in running for Congress?
Hi, Justin. I feel like we have a lot in common. I served for nearly 9 years. I have family. I live in Greenville. I want to know why you started this.
Sure.
What was your main motivation to be here, be heard, let us be heard, so on?
Where'd you serve?
Virginia Beach, Fort Story.
So, my motivation is Sarah, Kira, Riley, and Piper. Those are my daughters. And my motivation is to create a better world for them. A world where they grow up and have opportunities. A world where they can grow up and make a good life for themselves and achieve the American dream. Because they're 20, 17, 12, and 13, but they all work their ass off for everything that they need. And I want that to mean something for them. The catalyst to why I started running is a little different. Last summer when I saw folks, women and children, old men and old women being tackled to the ground by masked federal agents, I had to stand up. I knew I couldn't stand by and do nothing. Military, those are the kind of people that they taught us were the bad guys. Those are the people they taught us go to Iraq and fight. We could do immigration. It's not open borders or violence and chaos. There's a way to do it correctly. Immigration reform, expand our courts, expand our judges, provide credible legal pathways for citizens, and get rid of the bad actors. We don't need violent people here. But, again, you do this with a scalpel and not a shotgun.
Folks, we are 8:42. We're doing great. We're getting down to probably 5, 6 questions left, so the timing is actually working in our favor.
Next question is Sharon Lusco. Trump has signed an executive order repealing the federal minimum staffing standards for Medicare reimbursement for nursing homes. What are your thoughts on this?
This is actually very personal and very important to me. My mother was an excellent nurse. Quality of care she received gave us confidence and comfort while she was there. She passed away last week, and I worry about the next group of people coming into those situations if these numbers go down, because your staff is who really makes a difference.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss. My mother just recently went into hospice or something. Nursing homes aren't cheap in the first place, right? People go bankrupt trying to put their parents in. They sell their homes, they sell their assets. You know, it should be made harder, and it shouldn't be cutting more funds through Medicare that are deserved, that are there for a reason, that are not there because of frivolity or because somebody decided one day, like, oh, let's just put a bunch of money. These things are studied. And we have Medicare funding staff levels that we need to pay for, and we need to bring them back to where they used to be. It seems like all that's happening is things being taken away from the most vulnerable of us. And I would fight to make sure that we get the staffing that we need, we get the funding we need, we get the care that we need. And to fund nursing homes and staff as they should be. So,
Like private equity.
oh yeah, we don't need private equity. Private equity buys homes, and they bought a trailer park that we worked at, and they raise their rent. They buy nursing homes. So we should ban private equity from buying that kind of property.
Kathy Frederick, will you accept campaign donations from APAC? If so, how will you ensure your votes represent your constituents rather than your donors?
Hi, Justin. I'm concerned about U.S. taxpayers' funding for Israel. We seem to have unending amount of funds, as you can see, for Israel, as we're all struggling here in the United States.
Right.
I'm equally concerned about the loss of innocent lives that we are seeing overseas.
Yep.
So I want to know, will you accept funding from APAC?
I've been endorsed by Track APAC for accepting no money from APAC.
Okay.
Kelly's accepted $85,000, I think, from them. But no, the lives that are being lost and the people that are being just destroyed is unacceptable to me. I've talked to a few folks who've gone to Palestine, and they did aid work there. And the things that they've shared with me are appalling. I won't share them here, I won't bring the room down too much, but yeah, we need to make sure that we're America first, not Israel first. Israel has health care. We pay to fund veterans' disabilities for Israel, while we cut VA benefits here in the United States. So who do we really work for? I work for America.
Okay.
And that's who I'm going to work for. I work for you. Thank you.
This question is from Kathy from LCDP. In the summer, I live at Client Lake, and with lots of Republicans who now vote Democrat, but won't talk about it. In many social groups, it seems to be social suicide to speak up. How can I promote Justin without losing my pals, or is this the cost?
Kathy?
Hi. There.
I realize that this is a pretty selfish question. However, Justin has given me a lot of courage tonight.
Put your mic up. Mic in front of your mouth.
I think it's a pretty selfish question, but Justin has given me a lot of courage tonight to come and say that Justin has answers. I think they all need to go to a town hall and find out.
Please.
And I'm going to take some of these, and maybe when I go to breakfast with my friends, I'll just kind of pour and encourage them to go to Crawford County's town hall.
Sure.
So, and I'll be there too.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you.
questions left. Mary Ellen Russell, if the Save American Act passes, do you think it will disenfranchise our citizens who can't afford to get the documentation they would need or just decide not to vote?
Right.
I believe our elections are very secure. I have a lot of faith in them. And it really upsets me when, like, say the president says that when their people, when the people he backs, when elections are okay, but when they're not, they're crooked, you know, they're crooked. And it just upsets me.
It should. It should upset you. And that's, again, by design. It's to disenfranchise voters. Disenfranchise married women, adopted folks. My mom was adopted. She's married 3 times. She's widowed 3 times, so don't marry her. But she's also, like I said, she's in hospice right now. She doesn't have the wherewithal to go and get her birth certificate and get her marriage certificate for her last name that's changed like 3 times. She will not be able to vote for me, her son, if the SAVE Act is passed. You are right that our elections are incredibly secure and fair. And everybody thought that until one man came along and told you that they won. So, yeah, I oppose the SAVE Act. I don't think it's going to pass. And what it's being used for right now is a cudgel. Because they could have passed the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. An act that would have helped millions of people afford a home. And it was bipartisan, it was a very popular bill. It got to the president's desk and he said, I'm not signing that because you haven't passed my SAVE Act. That's not how democracy is supposed to work. So, yes.
It isn't just one man that said
Oh, right,
elections weren't fair. It was Representative Kelly who brought a lawsuit trying to get our election overturned in Pennsylvania.
Yep, tried to throw out all of Pennsylvania's votes.
He tried his best.
January 6th, yep, I talked to somebody, I don't know if you guys know who Connor Lamb is, but I spoke to Connor Lamb, he was there as well, with Mike Kelly, and even after everything happened, he said Kelly's still looking to throw everything out, and Connor was like, are you even human? So, yeah, he tried to dodge the votes. I don't want to bring Kelly up too much. I'm more for fixing things than blaming the last guy. But he's done bad in our elections. He said his office had the fraudulent elector scheme they sent to Wisconsin. Tried to throw out our votes, and just goes along with everything that his boss tells him is the truth. So,
Can I say something real quick?
please, yes.
About 4 years ago, I was elected minority inspector for the elections in my district with 2 votes. Working there, you get to see, the checks and balances and everything that goes into making these elections secure. I know other districts need people, so if you have the time, volunteer your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work with the elections. And also, you can do that to help secure, the elections, and to just witness, what does go through, the process, so you can tell other people, that all this bullshit about, but, everything, elections being stolen and putting fake ballots and everything, it's not true, and it's good to get a hands-on.
Thank you, Frank. You're absolutely right. You should get involved as much as you can with your elections, with the democratic process. It's going to take all of us because it's going to take all of them. What's going to happen? I'm concerned about what's going to happen in these midterms that we're going to be in. I hope it goes well. If it doesn't, I don't have the resources to hire a lawyer to fight everything. If they sue me, oh, you've cheated in the election. I mean, they can say that, but I'm sure I'll have other people behind me paying for my lawyers. Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, like Frank said, Frank, right? Yeah. Get involved, get down there, learn about the process, and be a part of the solution. Thank you.
Sherry Floringer, you had asked a question about reform immigration. Did Justin touch on your points? Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And the last question, and then we're going to have rapid fire. This is going to be rapid, quickly. Casey Keister. The Epstein Files. The Epstein Files Transparency Act was passed to force the release of the Epstein Files. Since the documents are still withheld, subpoenas have been issued, contempt is threatened, still nothing. How will you turn the Epstein Files into the Epstein Trials?
Obviously, this is important.
Of course.
I might be biased, but it's important.
Yes.
I feel as if big, powerful people are being protected. And for what? And it's not talked about enough.
It is.
And it needs to be pushed.
Yeah.
Whether Democratic, whether Republican, discussing people are being protected. And it needs to end. That's it.
Absolutely. How many people did we arrest for vandalism at the reflecting pool? Like 6 people? Yeah. Nobody's been arrested from the Epstein Files. Not a single person in the United States. Other countries, we brought down the prince.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Then why are we living with somebody who thinks he's a king? The Epstein Files need to be, pushed and subpoenaed as hard as we can. Because you're absolutely right. They're protecting people who have done unspeakable things to children.
Women and children.
Women and children. Yeah. I hesitate to say women because most of them were, So it's a disgusting scandal, and it needs to be brought to light. It needs to be dragged out from the rug, screaming into the light. And all these people that have done these things to other human beings need to be held accountable for their crimes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at 8:54. We did great so far. So here's what the next step is going to be.
One second.
Oh,
We do have 3 people that did not put their names on their questions. So Justin's going to speak to the press right after, but if you'd like to stick around, then he can answer your last 3 questions as well.
Sorry about that. With the lightning round, Jim is going to ask some quick fire topic questions for him. But before we start, I started our whole explanation about a storm. I think we're living in a storm. I said, look for the leaders. Not normally the people you would see as a leader.
Right.
That's a leader. That's 100% leader. Exactly what I mean. They take the storm, the little old ladies are making food at the fire department during the storm. Those are the people that are the heroes. The guys that release and make sure that all the ambulance and fire trucks and everything is right. Those are the heroes, but they don't get any adulation at all. We finally have somebody who is right up our alley. I think he can help.
I hope so. I'll do my best. You're up.
Okay, so these are some questions that have already been asked and answered, but just a little recap here.
Sure.
And these are yes or no.
All right.
Okay?
Yes or no? Yes.
And that's,
Because we never get a yes or no from anybody else.
Yeah.
right. Okay, let's go. Congressional term limits, yes or no? Overturn Citizens United.
Yes.
Ban stock trading by congressional members.
Yes. Of course.
Are the Pittsburgh Penguins your favorite hockey team?
They are. They kind of blew the lead this year, though. I'm a little pissed at them, but oh well.
Lift the payroll tax cap on Social Security.
Yes.
Increase the federal minimum wage.
Yes.
Expand the VA home loan program for veterans.
Yep.
Will you support legislation that puts strict restrictions on corporations?
Yes.
Data harvesting,
Yes. Data harvesting. Exactly. Yes.
Medicare for all systems.
Yes.
Your opponent, Mike Kelly, hasn't done a town hall in years. Would you like to debate Mr. Mike Kelly?
Yes.
Do you support the PRO Act to protect the rights to organize?
I do. I was a union member. I was in the IBEW and the UAW in the past.
Do you support the Women's Health Protection Act ensuring reproduction freedom?
100% yes.
And the very last question, Steelers or Ravens?
The Steelers.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Hey, thank you all so much for being here tonight. This was awesome. I appreciate you coming and listening and having a conversation. I think I gotta go with this guy and do some other stuff, but stick around. There's cookies and water and all kinds of snacks. And if you want to learn more about my platform, you go to justinwagnerphotography.com. If you want to volunteer, you can sign up there. If you want to donate, that's helpful too. So thank you all so much, and have a wonderful week. Be safe, God and all.